Let's try that again. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're on and what time zone you are in. I'm your host, Skeptically Speaking.
And I'm Sweet Pea from across the pond.
And do we have a show for you? Not all happy news. If you want more independent media in your life, please consider supporting the show. Support us on Cash App, Venmo, Patreon. You found us on YouTube. You can also find us on TikTok, Bluesky, Discord, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, Kick, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, and Substack. How are you?
I'm doing okay, thank you. How are you doing today?
Actually, I feel a lot better today. I got some sleep last night.
Good.
For the first time this week. It's just been late getting to bed. But that's okay.
I'm glad you got some sleep.
We do it all for you, the audience, dear audience. So we have Death of a Panther. Assata Shakur passed just yesterday at the age of 78. She's got a biography that I really want to get. I'm hoping it's in audio format. That would be so much easier because it's going to be hard for me to make myself sit and read a book, but I can listen to a book. But yeah, the entire federal government came after her and her organization. So she was born Joanne Deborah Byron back in 1947. So she's considered a revolutionary activist. She was part of the Black Liberation Army and also the Black Panther Party. So she was convicted of first-degree murder, atrocious assault and battery. Atrocious, okay. Assault and battery against police officer, assault with a dangerous weapon, assault with intent to kill, illegal possession of a weapon. And she was sentenced to life. Thankfully, the BLA got her out and shipped her off to Cuba, where she spent the rest of her life as she was on an FBI most wanted terrorist list. Unbelievable. Even her defense argued that there's no way she could have shot the police officer in question based on her right arm was shot and paralyzed while her hands were raised. So the direction of the bullet that came, she couldn't have been armed. She couldn't have fired any weapon, But
I reckon they set her up.
Yeah, this is, the FBI had it in for all black activists, going all the way back to Herbert Hoover, that decrepit little cretin. And the FBI just carried on kept the tradition going, white supremacy and going after black activists. And they did everything they could. I mean, they got it. They literally wanted reasons to kill these people. They would spread disinformation, misinformation. They'd get them all shook up so they were like in fear of their lives. So they would literally carry weapons, and then they would actually instigate things, hoping that they would use their weapons so that they could have an excuse to shoot these people.
Oh yeah. And the police still to this day still try to escalate things.
Yep.
So they have an excuse to murder people. It is disgusting, and I will keep saying it until like my last breath. She was innocent. They set her up. It's disgusting, and they've set loads of people up, and they're continuing to do that.
Yeah, so basically, she was involved. Yeah, she was involved in a lot of civil rights protests and sit-ins back in the 60s. She would have been, I don't even know, let's see, 1948. Oh, she would have been 12. Yeah. She traced her interest in, Martin Luther King. Yep. Yeah, so she got interested in communism back in '64. That would have been she would have been 16 uh, during the Vietnam War with several African students attending Columbia University. Um, she said, "quote I continued saying the first thing that came into my head that the U.S. was fighting communists because they wanted to take over everything. When someone asked me what communism was, I opened my mouth to answer. Then I realized I didn't have the faintest idea. My image of a communist came from a cartoon. It was a spy with a black trench coat and black hat pulled on over their face, slinking around in corners. I felt like a bona fide clown. I knew I didn't know what the hell communism was, and yet I'd been dead set against it. I never forgot that day. Only a fool lets somebody else tell him who his enemy is. Correct." In 1967, she was arrested for the first time with 100 other BMCC students on charges of trespassing. The students had chained and locked the entrance to a college building to protest the low numbers of black faculty and the lack of black studies program. Yeah, so she got married in '67 to a fellow student. They had a Catholic wedding ceremony. The marriage ended within a year. They divorced in 1970, and she was granted an annulment. In her 320-page memoir, Shakur gave a paragraph to her marriage, saying that it ended over their differing views of gender roles. That's interesting. Yeah, buddy. So Shakur had a daughter. Kakuya Shakur was born during her trial for murder. Kakuya's father is Kamwa Sadiki, another co-defendant in the case. So she was literally pregnant while on trial, and she had to literally defend. I think she ended up having to defend herself because her lawyer, from what I remember, her lawyer was just a piece of work. So she got involved with the Black Panther Party in Harlem, and she got involved in the free breakfast for children program, free clinics, and community outreach. She soon left the party, disliking the macho behavior of the men, believing that the BPP members and leaders lacked knowledge and understanding of African American history. That is interesting because when you look at the Black Panther Party, it was kind of male dominated, even though the women did probably the majority of the work. And so she joins the Black Liberation Army, an offshoot whose members were inspired by the Viet Cong and the Algerian independence fighters of the Battle of Algiers. They mounted a campaign of guerrilla activities against the U.S. government using such tactics as planting bombs, holding up banks, and murdering drug dealers and police. Wow. Okay. She began using the name Assata Shakur in 1971, rejecting the Joanne basically as a slave name. Assata is a West African name derived from Aisha, which means she who struggles. While Shakur means thankful one in Arabic, let's see, Alugbala means savior in Yoruba. She identified as an African and felt her old name no longer fit. It sounded so strange when people called me Joanne. It really had nothing to do with me. I didn't feel like no Joanne or no Negro or no American. I felt like an African woman. So in '71, I guess this is where the real trouble. Shakur was shot in the stomach during a struggle with a guest at the Statler Hilton Hotel in Manhattan. According to police, Shakur knocked on the door of a guest room, asked, "Is there a party going on here?" then displayed a revolver and demanded money. Okay, in 1987, Shakur confirmed to a journalist that there was a drug connection in this incident but refused to elaborate. Okay. She was booked on charges of attempted robbery, assault, reckless endangerment, and possession of a deadly weapon, then released on bail. Shakur is alleged to have said that she was glad that she had been shot. Afterwards, she was no longer afraid to be shot again. Yikes. Not somebody to trifle with, wouldn't you say? So there was a bank robbery in Queens, and Shakur was sought for questioning. A photograph of a woman who was later alleged to be Shakur wearing thick-rimmed black glasses with a hairdo pulled tightly over her head, pointing a gun, was widely displayed in banks. The New York Clearinghouse Association paid for a full-page ads displaying material about Shakur. In 87, when asked in Cuba about police allegations that the BLA gained funds by conducting bank robberies and theft, Shakur responded, "There were expropriations, there were bank robberies." Oh, fuck. Yikes. Not quite a denial of that. Shakur was named by the New York Police Department as one of 4 suspects in a hand grenade attack that destroyed a police car and injured 2 officers in Maspeth, Queens. When a witness identified Shakur and Andrew Jackson, what? From FBI photographs. Oh, okay. A 13-state alarm issued 3 days after the attack. Law enforcement officials in Atlanta, Georgia, said that Shakur and Jackson had lived together in Atlanta for several months in the summer of 71. There's a photograph of police standing next to a patrol car that was destroyed by a hand grenade in 71. Well, you declare war on black activists and you kill them with impunity, and you wonder why they're fighting back. You wonder why they're arming themselves with fucking grenades. When they try to go the peaceful route, and then you target them over and over and over again. Are you going to be surprised when this happens? So there was an 89,000 Brooklyn bank robbery on March 1st, 1972. The Daily News headline asked, "Was that Joanne?" Shakur was identified as wanted for questioning. See, this is the thing. This is the quote, "they all look alike" defense. And then they start putting pictures in papers with no proof, and you wonder why no one takes you seriously. My goodness. In 72, Shakur became the subject of a nationwide manhunt after the FBI alleged that she led a Black Liberation Army cell that had conducted a series of cold-blooded murders of New York City police officers. My goodness, those police officers must have did something. What were the police in New York doing in the 1960s and 70s? I wonder.
Killing innocent people.
Yeah. The FBI said these included the execution-style murders of New York City police officers Joseph Pangiantini and Waverly Jones. Shakur was alleged to have been directly involved with the Foster and Laurie murders and involved tangentially with the Piangentini and Jones murders. Some sources identify Shakur as the de facto head of the BLA after the arrest of co-founder Dhoruba Moore. Robert Daley, deputy commissioner of New York City Police, for example, described Shakur as the final wanted fugitive, the soul of the gang, the mother hen who kept them together, kept them moving, kept them shooting. Wow. Gotta love those descriptions. And it's amazing. Why is it that I do not believe a thing these police officers are saying? Why is it that I don't believe a fucking word that the established government of the 1960s and 70s, who are just known for their anti-blackness, anti-everything black, One officer said that they had created a myth to demonize Shakur because she was educated, young, and pretty. Oh, really? Years later, some police officers argued that her importance to the BLA had been exaggerated by the police. You don't say. You don't say. When Shakur was identified as one of the 4 BLA members on a short trip to Chattanooga, Tennessee, yikes. She was wanted for questioning along with Robert Vickers, Toyman Myers, Samuel Cooper, and Paul Stewart in relation to police killing a Queens bank robbery and a grenade attack on police. Shakur was reported as one of 6 suspects in ambushing of 4 policemen, 2 in Jamaica, Queens, 2 in Brooklyn. Man, she gets everywhere. She's just everywhere all at once. Isn't that amazing? Goodness.
which proves they were setting her up.
I don't know.
It
This
is
just
practically
sounds.
impossible.
Yeah, this sounds like a setup. Holy shit.
It is. It's absolutely disgusting what they put her through.
And then you look through, and then you look at the history of the police in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and it's like, my God, these were gangsters. These guys were gangsters with badges and guns. These guys, you think it's bad now? You think it's bad now, man? This, before cameras, um, before GoPros, man, they could shoot anybody and put a gun in their hand. They didn't give a fuck. They would make you look guilty. Yeah. So Shakur was allegedly in the backseat of a van connected with a burglary. After the vehicle was pulled over, two men stepped out of the vehicle and opened fire on the NYPD officers. The two men were charged with the murder of officers, blah, 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 and attempted murder of Officer Rainey. By 73, an apparatus that would become the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force was issuing nearly daily briefings on Shakur's status and the allegations against her. Daily briefings. The FBI and local police initiated a national search and destroy mission for suspected BLA members, collaborating in stakeouts that were products of intensive political repression and counterintelligence campaigns like New Kill. Oh, this page does not exist. I wonder why. They attempted to tie Assata to every suspected action of the BLA involving a woman. Just like that. Just like that. I mean, this is. Oh, and then COINTELPRO. That was wild. In fact, I got a book on COINTELPRO. Two journalists. Actually, no, they weren't even journalists. I think one of them was a teacher. They literally burglarized an FBI office and stole a bunch of files. And those files proved that there was a collaborative effort of the FBI to attack and possibly kill black activists with surgical precision. Yeah, she was targeted by an investigation named Chesrob, which attempted to hook former New York Panther Joanne Chesmerd to virtually every bank robbery or violent crime involving a black woman on the East Coast. Although named after Shakur, Chesrob, is like its predecessor, New Kill, was not limited to Shakur. See what I mean? Facts be damned. Truth be damned. They didn't give a fuck. No wonder people risked their life to bust her out of prison. Years later, when she was living in Cuba, Shakur was asked about the BLA's alleged involvement in the killings of police officers. She said, in reality, armed struggle historically has been used by people to liberate themselves. But the question lies in when do people use armed struggle? There were people in the BLA who absolutely took the position that it was time to resist. And if black people didn't start to fight back against police brutality and didn't start to wage armed resistance, we would be annihilated. Yes. Yes. Exactly. I mean, it just goes on and on. Oh, then they were stopped because of a broken taillight. And the vehicle was slightly exceeding the speed limit. Recordings of Troop Harper calling the dispatcher were played at the trials. Yeah, the stop occurred 200 yards south of what was the Turnpike Authority Administrative Building. Akoli was driving, Assata was seated in the right front seat, and Zayed was in the right rear seat. Trooper Harper asked the driver for identification, noticed a discrepancy, asked him to get out of the car, and questioned him at the rear of the vehicle. With the questioning of Akoli, accounts of participants in the confrontation begin to differ. Yeah. Meaning, oh, you mean the police lied? According to initial police statements, at this point, one or more of the suspects had begun firing with automatic handguns, and Trooper Forrester fired 4 times before falling mortally wounded. At Acoli's trial, Harper testified that the gunfight started seconds after Forrester arrived at the scene. Harper further testified that Forrester reached into the vehicle, pulled out, and held up a semi-automatic pistol and ammunition magazine and said, "Jim, look what I found." While facing Harper at the rear of the vehicle, police ordered Assata and Zayed to put their hands on their laps and not to move. Harper said Assata reached down to the right of her right leg, pulled out a pistol, and shot him in the shoulder, after which he retreated behind his vehicle. Questioned by prosecutor Hamlin, Harper said he saw Forrester shot just as Assata was hit by bullets from Harper's gun. In his opening statement to a jury, Hamlin said that Acoli shot Forrester with a .38 caliber semi-automatic pistol and used Forrester's own gun to execute him. According to the testimony of state police investigators, 2 jammed semi-automatic pistols were discovered near Forrester's body. Yeah, stinks to high heaven, doesn't it? That sounds like a hit. That sounds like a hit. Yeah, is it any wonder why black people are just a little hesitant to obey police commands, like at a drop of a hat? Unbelievable. Son of a bitch. Yeah. So, yeah, you've got police. When you have police officers that are allowed to lie on a witness stand, their testimonies don't even add up. They're not even together. The stories don't even fit the crime scene. Yeah.
Which I do have a bit of information on.
Turnpike shootout proceedings continued. Blah, blah, blah. 73. It was almost impossible to obtain a jury here comprising people willing to accept the responsibility of impartiality so that defendants will be protected from transitory passion and prejudice. Yeah. Shakur unsuccessfully attempted to move the trial to federal court. Yeah, can you imagine if she had moved it to federal court? There's a higher level of evidence. Wow. It just goes on and on and on. And then they're trying to get her on kidnapping charges. I mean, they got a hard on. Now and then in 77, 4 years later, they're retrying it again. The prosecution argued that Assata fired the bullets that had wounded Harper, while the defense argued that the now deceased Zayed had fired them. It's just unbelievable. And then they kept denying the petition to move it to federal court. I wonder why. I wonder why they would be against that. Yeah. No justice, no peace, huh? But yeah. I mean, it's to the point where I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't fucking believe you guys. I don't fucking believe any of you. And it's just, the medical testimony demonstrated that she was shot with her hands up and she would have subsequently been unable to fire a weapon. I mean, they're just, even a neurologist said, hey, her median nerve in her right arm was severed by a bullet. She got shot twice. She got shot in her upper arm, armpit, chest. Oh my God. Her medium nerve instantly paralyzed her right arm, which only could have been caused if both arms were raised. I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for any of these cops at all. These fucking cowboys who have a hard on for black people and black activists. We're gonna get them and we're gonna show them who's tough. Yeah, until they start shooting back and throwing grenades. Fuck these people. Unbelievable. Yeah, I can understand why. I mean, this is just systemic targeting. You know, it's just God Almighty. I can't imagine. But yeah, but I tell you, she's a lot tougher than I am. So she had a daughter. For some reason, I always thought that Tupac Shakur was her son, but apparently she was his godmother. So man, my signals were way crossed. But yeah, I can see. Yeah, but she lived. I mean, she escaped from jail back in what 78. Um, and then she lived for like 4 years on the run. That's or no 79. Okay, so 1979. So from 1979 to 19. Where does it say? Yeah, basically her entire family, friends, colleagues, everybody, they were monitoring, bugging her phone. FBI Director Webster said that the search for Shakur had been frustrated by a resident's refusal to cooperate. Yeah, that's right. Snitches get stitches in this case, man. Yeah, that's wow. The FBI did a armed raid on a house. I think they came in with shotguns, machine guns, and just you know for hours they searched the house and then wouldn't let the residents leave. And they were just being bitches. So there, she was like, so she made it to Cuba in 1984. So for 5 years she was living in man. What life must have been like. Wow. The Cuban government literally they basically paid approximately $13 a day towards her living expenses. My God. So her daughter came to live with her in 87. Goodness. So basically she said of Cuba, one of the largest, most resistant, most courageous maroon camps that has ever existed on the face of the planet. She said Fidel Castro was a hero of the oppressed. How bad does your government have to be where Fidel Castro is considered a hero? That is so wild. And she published a autobiography, Assata, 1987. She wrote that in Cuba. Goodness gracious. But yeah, this is how bad things were in this country, where a black person with their hands up can get shot to death, and the officer would be cleared. That's how bad things were. There was I don't know if it was Fred Hampton or Seal or somebody in Chicago. They had his entire house surrounded. He had to literally walk out of his house stark naked, nothing on, so that way they couldn't claim that he was reaching for something, you know, in his pants or something like that. That is how twisted the cops were. Oh my God. I'll never forget reading that as long as I live. But yeah, this is the history of this country. Assata Shakur. Badass to the bone. Holy shit. I first time getting shot. I don't think I would have made it. And then after that says, yeah, I'm glad I got shot because now I know what it's like and I'm not going to be afraid of getting shot again. Holy fuck. So there have been a few posts that have come in talking about Assata Shakur. So let's go ahead and play some of that.
Rest in peace to our black queen, Assata Shakur. She's passed away at the age of 78, y'all. Oh my God. If you don't know who this woman is, you need to pick up a book. Cuba announced it in a foreign press release. On September 25th, 2025, American citizen Joanne Deborah Bryan, Assata Shakur, has passed away in Havana, Cuba, due to health conditions and advanced age. Now, Ms. Shakur was known for being a part of the Black Liberation Army and a prominent figure when it came to Black power and Black liberation. Now, back in the 1970s, they'd like to claim that Miss Assata Shakur was a part of robberies and shootouts, which she said she didn't have shit to do with. Now, in 1973, everything changed for her. There was a shootout in a New Jersey turnpike that unalived one officer and her friend. I think it's pronounced Zaid Shakur, but no relation. Now, Assata was wounded and arrested and taken to prison. She was convicted of murder, even though her people said she did not hit that trooper. But in 1979, they got her the hell out. Yes, the Black Liberation Army got her out of jail. They got her all the way to Cuba, and when she got there, Castro said, baby, you got sanctuary here. In 2013, the FBI put her on the most wanted list as a terrorist and offered a $2 million reward to bring her ass back from Cuba. Did I mention she was one of the first people in the Black Panther movement? And not only was she part of the Black Panther movement, she was also Tupac's godmother and step-aunt. Oh yeah, she was bad. She lived most of her life outside of the public eye, but she did do interviews every now and then. In 1987, she wrote an autobiography. Her autobiography awakened several activists, movements for racial justice, including within the hip-hop community and the Black Lives Matter movement. She lived out her days as Miss Shakur. And I'm happy that she was never able to be touched by America. That's one black woman they couldn't touch.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sorry, even if you can pin anything on her, even if you could say she's guilty of something, the US government is guilty of targeting black citizens and activists. Is it any wonder why they militarized? Is it any wonder why they got militaristic and uber vigilant and very aggressive? This is what happens. This is the price you pay. You know, didn't Malcolm X said, didn't he say the ballot or the bullet? America chose the bullet. How are we doing? Doing any better? And as you could see, there were starting to be pushback against the accepted religion of Christianity. And here's a great example as to why.
Evangelical Christianity has always been rooted in racism and always been rooted in white supremacy.
Somebody was coming into our church and they're black, and would they be eligible for membership in our church? Yes, of course they would. They'd be eligible for membership in our church. But would they be permitted to participate in, embody, and practice what I would call black culture generally in our church? The answer is absolutely not. Why?
With all of the evangelicals using Charlie Kirk as a martyr,
call Charlie Kirk a modern American martyr for the faith. So
is due to the white supremacist ideas that he upheld.
Why? Because the characteristics that mark black culture as a generalization in evil, murderous, violent, bestial people. They steal, they kill, they destroy. They are sinful to the core. They have besetting sins that are like fatherlessness, sexual immorality. They molest children at a high rate. All of any criminal statistic that you could look at almost.
Wait until they realize that white people, even per capita, blow the black community out of the water when it comes to abusing children, when it comes to everything he ticked off, fatherlessness. And this little racist, Nazi, twirly mustache Nazi, always look at somebody with a side eye with a haircut like that.
Pretty much without
When I think white culture, I think genocidal, colonial, racist. I think mass destruction of nations, culture, places, and things, theft of people's ideas, people's culture, people's things. I think the highest rates of child sexual assault are white men. Bestiality is white men. In family incest are white people. But the list can go on about how you're using statistics incorrectly and just lying and being very racist towards black people while welcoming black people into your white church for white people and want black people to be white. It is insane to me that you can be and say you are a Christian and a man of God and be a pastor. You're a pastor and you're coming online and you're spewing hatred, racism, and just straight up fallacies about black people, all while upholding mass shootings, violence, sexual assault, mass theft, destruction. The list goes on of what white culture has done to the world and what white people continuously do to the world. But you want to vilify black people on your platform because you are reaching out to the sentiment of white racist people on the right in this country. Because, like I said, white evangelical Christianity is a form of religious extremism. And that's what's at the forefront and the top of this country. America is a religious extremist country in which white people get to be extremist. And it's just okay. You get to come on and espouse this hate, this hateful message. I want to drive home, guys. This is a pastor. This is a pastor. This is a pastor. So a pastor coming on and not being very Christ-like is not any form of Christianity that's real. These people are in a cult. This is a cult. This is a cult. This is why the Proud Boys, the KKK, all these people come out of this version of Christianity because it's not Christianity.
Yeah, the Proud Boys. I knew I recognized that haircut from somewhere. Yeah, there it is. He's a Proud Boy. Oh, and spare me this. Oh, the left is so violent. Oh, look what they did to Charlie Cook. Motherfucker, you guys praised Kyle Rittenhouse. You guys clapped for him and cheered for him and said, oh, we got your back, man. Don't worry. We'll donate to your fund, your defense fund. Mm-hmm. This piece of shit. This rotten piece of shit he was there to hunt. Oh, give me that. Oh, well, he was cleaning up graffiti and this and that. He was there to hunt. He was there to instigate, and he got it. And they let him off the hook.
Question. If he was there just to clean up graffiti, what the hell did he need a gun for?
Yeah,
last time I checked, guns
for personal protection. Yeah. Yeah, kind of hard to clean graffiti with the butt of a AR-15, but that's just me. What do I know?
Yeah,
and people,
he had no business being there anyway. And for these
people who say, "Oh, well, they can come. They're welcome to come into our church, but they're not going to be able to engage in black culture." Can you explain to me why these people are so obsessed with black people? They don't want them in their spaces, but they have no problem going to white to black spaces.
Hey, cool kids, emergency meeting. I had to take a couple sick days, but apparently while I was gone, the Klan showed up to Tennessee State University and HBCU and tried to antagonize them students. I'm an HBCU grad and I have a master's in African and African American studies. If you're an HBCU student especially, I need you to lock in right now. Let's take a ride. These Klan bros are going to start showing up to your campus because they're trying to get you kicked out of school. And the reason why I know that is because this is just a rebrand of a long history white people have of going to HBCUs to terrorize students there. They don't know that history, but we do. Don't we? The general population is not taught. White people have a long history of Reconstruction and Jim Crow era and even today of going to HBCUs and doing exactly what them two white boys did. Looking to instill fear, intimidation, and cause a ruckus. They would show up and burn crosses on HBCU campuses. Agricultural HBCUs had to be on alert for white people destroying the crops that they grew. Academic buildings were burned down. The government had to send law enforcement, army tanks even, to surround certain schools so that they could be safe walking to class and going to graduation. Oh, and all that happened at one HBCU. That's just the one I went to. So because white supremacists cannot take their weapons and slowly circle around the school in their pickup trucks anymore, this is what they do instead. If those debate bros show up to your HBCU, it is because they want you harassed, they want you arrested, and they want you put out of school. That's their end goal. They want to disrupt your education any way they can. You can engage in any way you see fit, but here's some of my personal tips. Go to class. If you cannot afford to miss class, you walk right past them people and go to your class. Gonna be plenty of white boys to yell at in the future. Do not risk your education for them debate bros. They would grin with glee to know that you had to withdraw from a class because you missed too many days. Remember, their goal is to disrupt your education. If you want to confront them, even in a non-violent way, you need to be prepared to be arrested because that's their end goal and they're prepared to escalate it up to that point. And if you want to confront them and you're not prepared for that, you need to keep your reactions under control. You can't push nobody, you can't smack nobody's phone out their hand. I'm not telling you not to do nothing. I'm telling you whatever you do, you need to be strategic. Be safe, contact a local organizer in your area so that you can get a phone number for jail support and a bail fund. What I would do? I would get a group of my friends together, stand across from them, and do everything except engage. Grab your book, sit in the grass, and study. I stand right across from them and have the most blackety black-ass debate topic. It'll sound like a foreign language to them. What cartoon characters are obviously black? Who should Issa have chosen on Insecure? Set it off Soul Food or Friday. You could only save one. I go to the library, get the blackety blackest ass book, and read it out loud. This one, look out, Whitey, Black Power is gonna get your mama. Yeah, I do that. I take this one and just holler out every paragraph. It's called Blood in the Face, White Nationalism from the Birth of a Nation to the Age of Trump. Counter protests can be fun. Your homework for the next week or so is to watch a documentary called Eyes on the Prize. If you're a black student and you want lessons on like campus activism and black revolution on campus and all of that stuff, I can get my people together. We could do a Zoom class or something. Let me know if y'all are interested in that. All power. I'm proud of you. Be safe. Keep going. Oh, this in the corner is not for y'all. This is for the adultier adults and the allies who want to contribute to my
Yeah, that's an interesting. I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, they're there to stymie and get as many people to stop their education as possible. And if they can get you arrested, if they can get you expelled, kicked out of school, they will do it. That is their whole goal. And yeah, so that's just an idea to basically protect yourself. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in the minutia. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in cheap debates and bickers. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. They're not worth it.
No.
They're not there to debate.
No.
In fact, they should take debate off. They're there to antagonize. Do not allow them to. And moving on.
Somebody
Do you
please
know
come
what
get
the-
this coon out the motherfucking
do you
room.
know-
Apparently Stephen A. Smith, this egg-shaped, bald-headed ass motherfucking bitch, think he can come for Kamala Harris. You know, his new grift is politics, but all I smell is shit, and it's more than this swollen bottom motherfucking lip. All we're getting is shitty ass takes from an ain't shit ass nigga.
I believe Kamala Harris's political career is over.
Over where? Over the motherfucking rainbow? Cause the sky's the motherfucking limit when it comes to Kamala Harris. Big Sister General is booked and motherfucking busy. Last time I checked, she's in more demand than Labubu's, bitch. Her book tour sold out in less than 24 motherfucking hours. Her supporters were fighting motherfucking scalpers on Ticketmaster like it was the 75th motherfucking Hunger Games. And bitch, the odds were forever in my motherfucking favor. I got my meet and greet tickets. But let's talk about her. Her book is already a bestseller and ain't even hit the shelves yet. So tell me, Stephen A. Smith, you Mr. Burns looking ass bitch, where's your political career at? Oh, it's non-existent like your motherfucking hairline. And please tell me why the fuck your barber gave you a bald fade in the motherfucking front. And speaking of front, you fronting like your ass gonna run for office. You ain't even qualified to be dog catcher, nigga. I wouldn't even pick your ass as paperboy. I wonder what possessed this coon ass tap dancing Republican dick riding motherfucker to think that he had the motherfucking gall to tell a former vice president what the fuck she could or could not be. Kamala was DA, AG, senator, and fucking vice president. You tell me what legacy you leaving. Please, Steven, tell me. I would love to motherfucking know what are you gonna be known for other than being a messy ass, untalented sports version of motherfucking Wendy Williams, who's only gonna be known for running his motherfucking mouth with no motherfucking accolades, no records, no awards. Your fucking damn basketball career ended in motherfucking college. It conceded like your motherfucking hairline. But since we talk about motherfucking records, Kamala Harris holds it. She holds the most ties broken in motherfucking history by any vice president in the damn Senate. The only thing your ass ever broke was your motherfucking knee, which is confusing the fuck out of me because your ass was benched, bitch. I guess Winston-Salem wasn't having him. Or maybe it's the fact that you a flip-flopping ass bitch who don't stand on motherfucking business. I remember last year when Biden was still at the top of the ticket, your ass was cooning and tap dancing for Donald Trump, comparing him to civil rights activists that were wrongfully arrested during Jim Crow.
When you see the law enforcement, the court system, and everything else being exercised against him, it is something that black folks throughout this nation can relate to with some of our historic, iconic figures.
And the only crow you know is when you look in the motherfucking mirror, ho. This bird brain having ass bitch said that black men could relate to Donald Trump because apparently to Stephen A. Smith, all black men are fucking felons. According to him, black men aren't entrepreneurs. They're not business owners. They're not lawyers. They're not legislators. And with Stephen A. Smith's sellout motherfucking ass, I wouldn't be surprised if he don't get a damn deal with Disney. He will reprise as one of these nigga magpies talking about, I seen a hawk's fly, I seen a butterfly, but I never seen an elephant fly high. Go ahead, Disney, cast his ass in Dumbo because he's a dumb bitch. When I tell you Kamala's book got bitches shook, they don't want you to speak your truth. But how fucking dare him? Vice President Kamala Harris was treated like shit the entire time while she was in office. They never covered her fucking accomplishments. The only time she got media mentions is when the office was leaking shit to the fucking press. They tried to make you believe that this black woman was incompetent. They called her a DEI hire. They called her a whore. They came for her husband. They came for her stepchildren. They talked about shit that had nothing to do with substance, such as her fucking laughter. They questioned her blackness. They talked about her silk press. And with all this shit, which ain't even half of it, the White House did not have her fucking back. And you're telling me she doesn't have the right to tell her fucking story? VP, you have every motherfucking right to speak your truth and talk your shit because it's your fucking experience.
I know I played that on yesterday's show, but I just thought it bears mentioning again. You know, as they say, as the good book says, enemies will be of your own household. Little Christian colloquialism there. Any thoughts to add?
I did, but I forgot them.
Well, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Well, here's a thought. The Democrats have released Epstein records, and guess who they mention?
Donald Trump.
Musk, Bannon, Thiel, Prince Andrew.
Ooh.
Yeah. A breakfast appointment with MAGA leader Steve Bannon, a planned lunch with billionaire Peter Thiel, a mention of billionaire Elon Musk potentially coming to the island with the notation, is this still happening? Why would they think Elon Musk would want to come to that island? Interesting.
I have no idea. Do you know, it's going to come to me later because I thought of something really, really, and I was just gone. Oh, yeah. The best form of revenge that students can have towards white supremacists is not paying them no mind. Get themselves a decent education. Get themselves a decent job. That is the best form of revenge they can have.
Flourish. Yes. Because they hate it when black people flourish.
Exactly. And, you know,
Yep.
that is the best form of revenge that Black people can have towards white supremacists, is flourish, grow, and thrive. That's what I was going to say earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you didn't. They really hate it when black people succeed. They really do. So, uh, in a squirrel diversion, it appears that Charlie Kirk's assassin, his twink lover, um, he was allegedly kicked out of the family home after getting into an explosive fight with his father over their religion. A new report claims a friend of Lance Twig, that's his name, Twigs, who is the transgender boyfriend of accused Kirk killer Tyler Robinson, claimed he became homeless in high school after rejecting Mormonism. What the fuck? He was kicked out of his parents' home when he was 19. So a friend of the family said, his parents kicked him out of the house. Ultimately, he lived with us. His parents never sat right with my family. They kicked him out for rejecting Mormonism his junior year of high school. It was on and off. He was bouncing couches. He would live with us for a few months, but didn't like taking up our couch. He would crash with friends. So it sounds like this kid is just, wow. He was just waiting to be groomed by these groypers. I tell you, these groypers are just sick, twisted fuckwits, man. They really are. They're so poisonous. They're so disgustingly anti-woman that they have to groom young boys to be their female counterparts. Isn't that wild? Even Nick Fuentes was on a date with one of these people. And I don't even know if they're even technically trans. Because they're literally just grooming these feminine looking boys to be their female counterparts. So, man, the stories these people are gonna tell years down the road. Oh, the documentaries that are gonna come out. Oh, miss me that shit. I think by that time, I don't think I even want to hear another word about these assholes. But yeah, it just goes on and on and on and on. And there's just story after story. Oh, did you hear the Trump administration is considering a $20 billion bailout for Argentina? $20 billion for Argentina. The Trump administration says it is working to provide tens of billions of dollars for Argentina's the President Milei. Remember that weirdo that got elected? Remember all those weird interviews that this guy was given, and he was just, he acts and looks like he's out of his mind. And I just remember seeing him on after the election. People were they were interviewing kids, and they're like, we don't even have an economic future in this country. What's the point? Whether it's this guy or the other guy running against him, it really doesn't seem to matter because we're still suffering here. The United States Treasury Secretary present confirmed the United States is in talks to provide $20 billion to Milei, that freak asshole. He's literally.
I'm sorry.
Whatever happened to his big economic plan that was going to make it easier for investments and make it easier for people to earn money and this and that. Basically, it's the he had like this weird libertarian idea of how to structure government, and he tanked his own country's economy. Argentina is one of the largest South American economies. Natural resources, including oil, gas, uranium, lithium. And why does he need $20 billion from the U.S.?
So after all Trump has said about Joe Biden giving X amount to Ukraine.
Right. Weren't they mad? Weren't they mad about that?
Him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. But it's okay for Trump to he's literally tanked the economy. He's literally wrecked everything in like the space of not 6 months. He's completely wrecked it. And now he's going to take 20 billion of taxpayers' money and other people's money, and he's going to give it to a different country.
Yeah, we're going to be
shouting and
this is how they're going to do it. They're going to be buying millions of Argentina's bonds,
which are worth nothing.
Unbelievable.
It is. They might as well start trading sort of cryptocurrency at this point between each other.
Now I'm just reading Donald Trump's troth. Highly respected president of Argentina, Javier Milei, has proven to be a truly fantastic and powerful leader for the great people of Argentina, advancing on all levels at record speed. He inherited a total mess with horrible inflation caused by the previous radical left president. Again, he says the same thing about Joe Biden. These people do not take accountability for anything. It's always somebody else's fault. They are the weakest of the weak. They're like the toddler who spills something and then blames the younger brother for it. You know, I'm just like, come on. If he's such, yeah, go ahead.
Have you noticed that Trump likes to take credit for stuff that goes really well, but he's really bad at taking responsibility for the things that he causes to go extremely wrong? He blames other people for like the bad things that he does, but then he wants to take credit for the good things that other people do.
Yeah, this is Chuck Grassley from Iowa. He says farmers are very upset about Argentina selling soybeans to China right after USA bailout. Still zero USA soybeans sold to China. Meanwhile, China is still hitting U.S. with 20% retaliatory tariff. Need China trade deal now. Farmers need markets to boost farm economy. Well, why did you fuck China? You think you're going to fuck China with tariffs and think they're not going to retaliate? Duh. These people are beyond incompetent. His comments refer to Argentina's agreement to temporarily suspend export taxes on soybeans, which will impact sales to China. Some American politicians have called the move a punch to the U.S. soybean market. Oh, well, hey, you wanted capitalism. You wanted unfettered markets. There you go. You're the little guy. You get fucked. I'm sorry. You chose Donald Trump. You knew what he was. You knew what he was like. You knew he was an incompetent moron. Now, I have to wonder how moronic these farmers have to be if they look at someone like Donald Trump and say, man, that guy's got it. Man, I think he would be good for our country. you shouldn't be in the farming business. You're not smart enough. Get out. Let the multi-billion-dollar corporations take over, because obviously you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And hey, by the way, welcome to capitalism. Once you go bankrupt, this is what's going to happen. A hedge fund is going to come knocking on your door and offer you pennies on the dollar to buy your farm. You know that farm you've had for 2, 3, 4 generations? Gone. And guess what? J.D. Vance, the vice president, is basically invested in one of these companies. It's called Acre Trader, I think, and they specialize in buying farmland that is under bankruptcy or about to be under bankruptcy. And so the farmers are just doing everything they can to survive, so they sell. You know what? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You do not deserve any more. You don't deserve any bailouts. This is what you chose. Racism and misogyny has a huge, hefty ticket price. You decided to be a racist cunt, and now you're losing the farm. Yeah, that's going to happen. Should have listened to black women. I'll bet you she had a few things to say. I wonder what's in her book, in her autobiography called Assata. I wonder what's in her book. I wonder what gems we'll find about her dealings with racist white supremacist cops who believed they had the right to kill black people. And they knew they'd get away with it because they had the Justice Department on their side. These bunch of thugs with badges and guns. That's all they are. Just a bunch of thugs. Oh, they had a shootout. You know what? I don't feel sorry for them. That's the price of a vendetta. You know? And you thought you were going to get away with just killing them all. Well, you didn't expect to be shot back at. And white people who are complaining about militarized police and police brutality, well, you didn't care when black people were getting shot at. You didn't care when they were under the gun. And so now the gun is pointed at you. Now what? Who's going to speak for you? Who speaks for you now? Oh, yeah? How much?
So, Assata is for sale on Amazon for $27.79, and
that's
two
a used
copies
copy.
left.
That's a used copy, isn't it?
That's a used copy. Yeah, it is.
Those books are going to go
condition.
flying
Used.
off the shelf. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 left.
The only thing I can hope for is one of those books in my library system. I should look it up just for shits and giggles, just to see if it's even available. My library, we have like 12 to 15 different libraries that are linked together, and they share, each other's material.
There is there's another book as well called The Little Book of Big Quotes by Fred Hampton and Assata Shakur. That's available on
was she a contributing
Amazon,
author?
Looks like they co-written the book together. Oh, it was written by, it is a book on both of them by E.C. Randolph.
Okay. Well, I, for one, am glad that she made it out of the U.S. This place, it has
She wasn't guilty.
ramped up. This place has ramped up. Anybody who is not white is a target. We just had a we just played a video of a coach. Didn't I play that? Oh, you know what? I didn't play that video yet. A coach has just been kidnapped by ICE. They don't know where he is yet.
I have urgent breaking news regarding the Des Moines Public School System. Dr. Ian Roberts, the Des Moines Public Superintendent, has been detained by ICE. If you're not familiar, this dapper fellow here is Dr. Roberts, as is this Olympic athlete, Dr. Roberts. That's right, ICE has detained the Des Moines Public School Superintendent, who just happens to be an Olympic hero as well. We do not have details yet, but an educated guess would say it's because Dr. Roberts refuses to allow ICE to kidnap his children. We don't know where they're holding him right now, but we are organizing an emergency protest at the Neil Smith Federal Building at 4 o'clock. Pick up your kids, get off work, do whatever you have to do. Join us at the Federal Building at 4 o'clock or later. If you've been waiting for this to hit home, it just hit home. Now's the time to act. Please spread the word.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in the middle of a hostile government takeover. We're watching it.
I hope they find him.
It's being televised. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, that being said, thank you so much for joining us on the Skeptically Speaking program. Please consider your support. You can support us via Cash App, Venmo, become a patron subscriber. Link will be in the description. We thank you in advance.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
We would love it. And with that, we will take off now.
Winding your way down Baker Street, light in your head and dead on your feet. Well, another crazy day. You'll drink the night away and forget about everything. This city doesn't make you feel so cold. It's got so many people, but it's got no soul. And it's taken you so long to find out you were wrong when you thought it held everything. You used to think that it was so easy. You used to say that it was so easy, but you're trying now. Another year and then you'll be happy. Just one more year and then you'll be happy, but you're crying up the booze and the one-night stands, and then he'll settle down. It's a quiet little town and forget about everything.